What up? Welcome to A2thaShow. It is me, A to the Mo, with the all-seeing eye shirt. It's blocked, of course, or I want to talk about it. But I've been just diving in all these conspiracies lately. Can't talk about so much Epstein stuff's happened that I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where to begin. So, someday though, Brad Surax, once his throat heals, he'll come on here and we'll try to do a rundown. So there you go. There's a future plans I'm making right here on the spot. This is episode 36. I put out a song called 36 a couple years ago. Go check it out. Hey, the Mo 36 as your playlist. All right, we got got a lot of stuff happening. Back for another week. This was the week I almost said, you know what, I could skip a week because I'll get to it later. Maybe later I'll bring it up and I'll be like, and that's why I was gonna skip it. But I looked at my notes, was like, the people I think need it, and so I was like, we're just chilling out here on a 3-day weekend. Might as well record something. I guess since there's a 3-day weekend, I guess I will. It's kind of where I ended at here. So, thanks for joining me, people. Shout out Pow. Pow just texted me a little bit ago. His grandmother in the hospital. So ER, I believe, at the moment. But sad stuff. We're at that age where everyone's if your grandparents aren't already dead, they're going through some shit, and so I don't know. I'm guessing it's definitely worse to lose them young. But I can make the argument, but I make arguments about a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily like I believe in. But when you're older and you lose your grandparents, to make the argument, what happened, at least for me and a lot of people probably around my age, is your grandparents were like the coolest people in the world when you were younger. At least that's how I felt. I stayed at their house every Saturday night for a long time. And my grandpa was awesome. And he was like the adult that was always trying to like teach me shit. My parents were like, they'd put up with me, but my papa was like always trying to like give me the answers to the whys. Your little kid, you're like, why is that? Why is that? Why is that? And I always respect him for that. And then you get old enough to where a black Muslim maybe man named Barack Obama runs for president, and then Fox News convinces your grandparents he's like a Muslim here to kill Christianity, and then they like dig into that whole side. And then you still like them, of course you love them and all that, but you like have to be a little. It's tricky. It's tricky bringing up certain shit or whatever. And I say that, but honestly, I loved arguing with them at a certain point in time. But eventually, I did quit. I was like, I can't every time I see them get into little arguments. And I'm not mean about my arguments. I'm pretty good at I just want the other side to admit they're being a little hyperbolic. Like that's normally my goal in a political argument. Like, well, come on, let's back off a little bit from that take. But anyway, neither here nor there. But shout out to all the grandparents out there, and more shout out to you if you're cool. It's I don't necessarily agree with let's give trans children hormone drugs. It's like, well, if you're that gender, okay, then be that gender. Why do you need the drugs for it? If that's like the whole point is like, I already am this thing, then it's like, well, let's not give little kids drugs. But I do kind of respect the grandparents that are like just fully support them, because like it's way cooler than the other option. Maybe not way cooler, I guess, if you think they're like gonna ruin their lives and whatever. So I don't know, maybe that one's a touchier subject. Look at me, I'm arguing with myself, devil's advocate. All right, stuff I need to talk about. I just put this at the very top so I can say it and I put it out in the ether, and then I'll do it. I have to start selling some shit on eBay. I don't want to become a hoarder, one, and so I think there's some shit around here I could probably sell. But also, my wife has about, let's say, maybe 80 books that she said she wants to get rid of, and she's going to ask me to try to sell. And I said, yeah, I could probably sell those on eBay. Now, originally, she said I could keep all the money, and she didn't care. But then as soon as I was like, oh, yeah, that should be fine. I mean, I don't know how much I'll make, probably $5 a book or something like that. And then she's like, well, hold on. Maybe I could buy more books. So we'll see what happens. But if anyone has any expertise in the eBay shops out there, in college, I sold a few video games when I was down on my luck. I had a few like rare PS1 games that I needed that $80 or whatever, so I was selling them. But it's been a long time since I sold something on there. And really, my only thought is just the shipping cost to ship books. Those books are heavy. I'm like, I don't know how much to charge for shipping, and I don't know if it's like I said, it's just been a while, so I'm not sure how it factors in. But Anyway, I'm about to start an eBay journey. That's my next goal in life. All right, Super Bowl halftime show happened last week. When Skinny was here, we recorded that on Super Bowl Sunday before the game, so we hadn't seen the game yet. We both made our predictions. He took the Seahawks, so I took the Patriots. Obviously, I lost on that prediction. I had no real reasoning. I didn't watch any of the games throughout the season. But yeah, it was a pretty boring Super Bowl, I thought, as like a not cheering for either team. I don't know, just when one team dominates and then the other team's quarterback looks like he's fucking a junior high. Like, I don't know much about Drake May besides what I've heard on different podcasts or whatever. I know he was like second in MVP voting, but he looked really bad. Like he must have been injured or something was like my thought watching it. So anyway, yeah, it wasn't the best. I, of course, kind of watch a little bit to watch the halftime show just because I've watched all the others, and I don't know if we have to rank them. I've seen some. I saw like a clip of like here's a minute from everyone for like the last 30 years or something, and yeah, there were some of the 90s that were like really good, and then like people now like just all the new ones are like they're immediately like, oh no, this was the best. You're like, I don't know if you've seen some of these older ones, but anyway, halftime show happens and Bad Bunny comes out. It's like half pre-produced, like there was some like video cuts and stuff. And I think even some of the celebrities that they cut to, they were supposed to be like in the dancing, they weren't there. But then you look at the Turning Point USA one. Apparently, Kid Rock's was recorded way in advance, and they paid the audience members to be there. That's the rumor at the moment. I didn't watch it. I have no idea how that went. I'm assuming not great, but you know, then again, Bob Kid Rock might have pulled it off. Again, I didn't watch it, so no. So anyway, but my take from the Bad Bunny halftime show, I guess my personal opinion is I didn't care a great deal for it because it wasn't in English. I understand people are like, how dare you? But like, I don't understand the other language. So if I had to choose, but it's also why I don't listen to his music in general. It's why I didn't listen to Daddy Yankee or, I mean, Pitbull, I think, is mainly in English. And I still was like, not really for me. So, that's just not my genre of music that I listen to. But I wasn't like mad at the Bad Bunny thing. Like for instance, I didn't listen to, I think it's pretty good. I got to listen to J-Lo and Shakira, but when they did the halftime show, I was like, that was amazing because, they were dancing so much, but they were still singing it. I don't think it was lip sync. I can't remember quite really, but I remember thinking that one was good. So I don't think it's just like a racial thing necessarily. I just don't, it's not my thing. Now I do think, I don't know how true or accurate it is, but I saw someone post pictures from like being in the stadium and they couldn't see shit of the performance. Now, maybe you shouldn't be expected to, and you're in a giant arena and it is maybe just for TV now. But that was interesting because, again, the ones in the 90s, they were like stadium productions. They were playing like to the arena and the cameras. So that's interesting as well. But all right, my real take is getting on Facebook the day after the Super Bowl, and it was like everyone had to have, and not in Facebook, all the social medias, they had to have like such a hot take of like, actually, that was a great story of love. And if you appreciate art, and that's another, I get really tired of people using this art thing because I hate doing it because you can't talk about art without being pretentious or sounding pretentious. But I have an art minor. Me and my wife, if we do go on vacations any town, we go to all the art museums. It's like something she really enjoys doing. I've done a lot of art viewing in my life. I went to like black box theater places, or just like I'm definitely experienced in the art world enough. And then these people that get on Facebook are like, it was the art of it. I don't think they've ever experienced any art, or like they never have cared before. Like they didn't watch a TV show and be like the fucking artistic mastery of the storytelling. Like, but because they have to have a take on this thing, they're like the artistry of it. And I'm like, listen, there was hot ladies dancing. I get it. It was cool. What was artistic? What was more? I mean, they did last year with Kendrick Lamar's thing too, and I enjoy Kendrick Lamar's music, but they'd be like the fucking message it sent. And you're like, it's just a fucking I don't know. I just think people put so much more into these things than what they are. And then they make it their personality in some way. And then that's what I judge. And then also the other side, when people go along like, how dare they put that Spanish speaking on the, I didn't even watch it. I watched Kid Rock deliver God's message. Like I'm judging those people too. I think they're fucking ridiculous. I just think those people are the same as the people that's like, Bad Bunny's fucking delivering the message of Jesus or what. I don't know. It's just all fucking ridiculous. Just enjoy the music you listen to and move on. Again, the ones in 90s, like Michael Jackson probably had the best performance. I can't remember who was like in 98. I don't remember if it was like the Temptations, or maybe it was like a Motown, like bring them back thing, but whatever it was good. But there was a country singer one that wasn't bad, but then there was some that were like, here's the Broadway musical company putting on it before, you're like, that's fucking horrible, So there was some, I don't know. I just don't understand what the fucking halftime show's political. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? They're out there fucking singing a song, and maybe this is the point. Maybe the point is to get all the headlines through that. And Jay-Z's like, listen, I've been doing this forever because Jay-Z's in charge of halftime show at the NFL. And maybe he's like, this is how you get publicity, cause an issue. That's why I dated a 16-year-old or whatever. And, it gets the people talking. And it does. And also just another part of the Bad Bunny, like them choosing him, is they want an international audience. The next year in the NFL, I think they had the most international games scheduled, where like they fought other countries to perform or to play the game. I just never saw American football as needing to be international. Like when I was growing up, other countries didn't give a fuck about American football, but it was still the biggest sport here. It made all the money. And I guess they just have all the people here. Now, I've fallen out of football. I know I've mentioned this many times. But it's just kind of boring to me as a television product. Now, like I watch, I don't find it that enjoyable. Also, I don't like the way football takes up a whole week. Like it's like your whole Saturday and Sunday, if you're into both college and pros, is like you just can't do anything. And I am lazy, but I can't be that lazy. I gotta like pretend I'm doing shit, So I've definitely fallen off of it. But they're just trying to go for more money with the rest of the world. They're trying to take over, and so I can understand why it's a good business play, But I didn't care one way or the other too much about it. All right, let's move on to something else on my list here. Now, I mentioned the Turning Point USA halftime show, which I feel like I could tie into here of like this Erica Kirk stuff. I see a lot of Erica Kirk memes and videos of it, and I find them all very funny. I love the one with it's like from the Eastbound and Down season 1 where he's like, "Don't you stare at me with those dead eyes, you church bitch," and it's like Kenny Powers saying it to Erica Kirk. I think it's very funny. But you may have probably had to see Eastbound and Down to fully appreciate it. But there's a lot of stuff coming out in these conspiracies about Erica Kirk was possibly a groomer on these honeypot operations that they have going on in Eastern Europe, where they take these girls that are from shitty country, previously communistic type countries. And they're like, oh, we can get you a better life, but you have to be a prostitute for the American government under the label or whatever. Honeypot operation, really don't know if it's based what the Epstein thing was in some way, except I think typically in a honeypot operation, you don't think them as children. You think they're of age, and you like have a hot lady have sex with a diplomat, and then you can blackmail him with that information or, something like that. So Erica Kirk might have been tied to some of that shit. I know she worked at some orphanage in Romania back in the day, and there's all these not funny, but like strange videos of her before she met Charlie Kirk that we were like, oh yeah, this is interesting. And then the question becomes like, was she set up to marry Charlie Kirk to like kind of keep tabs on him by whoever the man is that will be running all this stuff, But and then I think a lot of people take it that way because they want to believe Charlie Kirk was just pure. So he was a pure soul, he just loved Jesus. But listen, someday, maybe that Epstein docs will still come out like, actually, I don't know. I would hate to speak ill of the dead, but the man is on a pedestal. That is for sure by a certain group. But I'm a prophet. Also, something's kind of happened. Savannah Guthrie from the Today Show. She's like my wife's favorite person on the Today Show. And in the mornings when we're getting ready, I typically turn on NBC. It's like, the antenna channel or whatever. And so we've seen random stuff, but Savannah Guthrie's mom has went missing. And so this is like a news story they're showing. And, I've been into conspiracies for a long time. I don't get like so into them. I'm like arguing with people in public, but I like to just know them. I think they're fun. And just my gut instinct, I guess, of years of InfoWar clips, I just saw it and was like, I think this is all fake. I know that's like inconsiderate if this old woman really was kidnapped and being held for ransom or whatever. But like Savannah Guthrie, the anchor from the show, and then her siblings are like reading statements. And when they're reading, I was like, it just doesn't feel real. Like, I don't know. It just didn't seem authentic, or it didn't seem like, it almost felt like a fake news story to distract from all the Epstein shit. And I hated that my brain immediately went there, but it's exactly what I thought, because it was like literally that's, within a few days or something. And then they'll do a follow-up story about it. And then I think someone even compared like the speech that I heard, parts of it are the exact same as a speech from some movie in like the late 80s. You know, like there's like some taken from it. And then like Conspiracy World will be like, because they have to show you. They have to show you. You know, like for some reason, that's always in like conspiracy videos. It'll be like, they're not allowed to just conceal this. They have to tell you just right in your face so you don't know it. It's always so stupid. But you know, it like kind of met with that sort of so anyway. Maybe some days that'll become a conspiracy we'll talk about, but y'all keep it on the Savannah Guthrie's bomb missing thing. Other political news in Oklahoma in particular, we have this governor named Kevin Stitt. We used to have this governor before him named Mary Fallon that everyone hated. And then for some reason, they all voted for her successor, Kevin Stitt, who was, you know, same party, same policy, same whatever. And then guess what? Everyone hates him too. He's, you know, ultra Republican. I personally would like to see a more liberal state government. I mean, our government has been Republican my whole life, and Oklahoma is so poor. They do fucking nothing but give tax breaks to oil companies. So like, well, if we didn't give the tax breaks, we wouldn't get the jobs here. And it's like, well, other countries or other states have jobs, and they don't have to give tax breaks to all the companies. So maybe they do to some, but we're all fucked here. And then also half the states like Indian territory. And you would think like, well, that could fuck you over because they may not, you know, they don't probably pay tax in the same way, or you know, just something's a little different. But really, they're like pretty generous and helpful, and they would help. But then he like ruined the relationship between the state government and the tribes. And anyway, it's all been a whole fucking thing. But he's a big Trumper. You know, he loved Trump, and it was a big defender of him or whatever. And then they've gotten into it over something I'm not exactly sure. And now Trump's on Truth Social just shitting on Kevin Stitt, and he's like, I'm sorry, Oklahoma, for endorsing him and left you with such a bad governor. And it's very funny to see. I just you know, I like, you know, when you see the Trump machine turn on one of the Trump people, there is something about that is entertaining, you know. And he also, on his like state of the state or whatever the fuck, like his big speech is like his last one before he's retired from being governor. He was like, we need to get rid of this medical marijuana. Like, we've had it for 7-8 years now or whatever it is. And he's like, we need to re-vote on this, which a lot of people in the states are already mad because we voted on it one way. And then in the thing we voted on, it was like, and this law can't be changed. And then they've went in and changed it multiple times through different voting. So, you know, they're still trying to take the pot because they just had, I don't know why. I think people really do believe that it's just like evil and bad and like makes you a bad person. I think there's a certain generation of person and type of person that fundamentally believe that smoking pot just would instantly turn you evil. I know because I've met these people. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm not a big alcohol drinker, but I don't think people drink alcohol are like fucking evil or whatever, you know, even though they arguably do more evil things, you know. Anyway, so those are the fights we have going on here in the state. Oh, something I should have mentioned with the Super Bowl thing. I think we should stop all national anthems before the sporting events. And I say this because I mentioned last year when they done the Black national anthem, I think they did this year as well. I was like, I don't really like the idea. It's like, no, this one race gets theirs, and then we have the national anthem. And because a lot of people are like, well, national anthem doesn't represent us. That's like on the Black national anthem pro side. It's like, yeah, they don't have like a Chinese national anthem and a Mexican American national anthem and a, you know, there's. At some point, we get one for the whole fucking country, or let's just don't do none of them. We didn't even start doing the fucking like national anthem shit until after 9/11. And you tell people that, and they don't believe you because they remember being like at a high school football game and they're doing. You're like, yeah, of course they did. But like NFL games did not start all that patriotic shit until after 9/11. Speaking of patriotic shit, I see an American flag over my shoulder. That was a perfect little timing for that to come exposed. In my job, I don't talk about a whole lot, but you know, I work IT at a school, and one of the school buildings is shut down. Like they moved to a different building, and so it's an abandoned building. And this last week at work has been a lot of walking through an abandoned building, collecting cords, you know, other useful shit that we could recycle and reuse. But then also there's like junk. They're just gonna bulldoze the whole building. So it's like, well, if you see anything you want, you know, it can disappear no matter. It's like fucking, it's trash. They're going to trash it. And then also part of this, like, we have to take every flag out of the building because veterans, if they're working the construction site and they see this thing. So I collected a bunch of fucking American flags, and I took one American and Oklahoma flag that I had behind me because maybe someday I want to incorporate props into this thing. So also I was going to maybe just offer it to Skinny. You know, he's a veteran. He might appreciate it. No, but it has been fun. I got like a giant metal storage cabinet that, you would use in a school bill. I was like, no one's taking this. And then I was like, well, let's load this shit up. I'm taking it home. So one guy found a fucking lawnmower behind a shed, and he just pulled it one time and it started. And I was like, that's a fucking score. So it's been pretty fun. Now, I'm not a hoarder deep down. I mean, I have like a small hoarder tendencies around, like, you see something useful that is worth a lot of money. You're like, well, I mean, if it's just going to sit there, like it's like when you see a fucking quarter on the ground as a kid, you're like, well, I'm not leaving a quarter. You might leave a penny, but you ain't leaving a quarter. It's like whatever that is maybe, but there's other people I work with that are like, and they're like trying to take everything in every room. Like, well, we can't. And I'm like, listen, at some point, this is trash. Like, you cannot take everything. So that's fun. It was a fun little, it was fucking hard work. My whole body was so sore all week because I lift the most in my team. So there's a lot of like me lifting heavy shit. And I was like, this sucks. But anyway, it's fun stuff. All right, let's see. What else kind of, you know what? I said, let's just play a song. I've talked long enough. I looked up at the time. I was like, oh, fuck. But that's good. That's good. First song we're going with is from our homie, Sir Nasty. I really should start doing more arena entrance names, pronunciations like that. We'll see if I keep it going. So anyway, Sir Nasty, his new album is called Life of a Legend, and it is on the streaming sites, which I'm excited about. Nothing against Bandcamp. I do think y'all should go to Bandcamp, support the artists, buy their albums there. But my wife won't let me cancel my Spotify subscription, and so I need to use it, and I never get to use it because I don't know. Something's happened where I don't listen to music anymore. I don't know if music's fallen off in the last year, but in the last year, besides mine and my friends' music, I basically listen to no other music. I just can't find anything that I like. So I need to go on a musical journey, I guess. But anyway, Sir Nasty, Life of a Legend. The name of the song we're going with here is called Tell Me What We Doing. Let's give it a listen.
Where my dogs at? Where my dogs at? The rest of you niggas can eat dog shit. Graveyard, bitch. Shotgun through the windshield. I told them boys it's been real. Payback is a motherfucker. He the one got my friend killed. We gangster, boy. You better stay in your fucking place. Catch a young nigga with his bitch and shoot his ass in his fucking face. No remorse, we sleep good. 4 niggas in the Fleetwood. Light shit like a fire pit. Bitches know I keep wood. Come on, sir. Be a man, nigga. Tell them rappers get off their knees. AR-15. I'ma shoot this bitch like Austin Reeves. What the fuck? Young bitch talking about she finna crash out. Better ask them hoes what Nas by. You damn right, I put her ass out. Good God, you better come on, boy. And I don't care about none of that. Bitch, nigga, I'm none of that. She gave me head with the honey pack. If it's cash, then we stacking. If it's ass, then we smacking. We gon' blast, we attacking. Put your ass in the casket. If we rapping, we rapping. If we scrapping, we scrapping. Yo, but tell me what's happening. Bitch, what's happening, what's happening? If it's cash, then we stacking. If it's ass, then we smacking. We gon' blast, we attacking. Put your ass in the casket. If we rapping, we rapping. If we scrapping, we scrapping. Yo, but tell me what's happening. Bitch, what's happening, what's happening? They know my genre, horror music. Hip-hop be trippin' though. Everybody trying to catch a wave, but y'all hoes be trippin' though. Niggas won't smoke with the grave. 12 gauge, who trippin' though? Bitches say when I come to make it, I gotta go to the liquor store. Good God. Why? They wanna see that guy. They wanna tell me, hey. They hate to tell me bye. Bitch, you be asking me for money. Bitch, you must be high. Okay. You sucking dick with your eyes closed. Bitch, you must be shy. Bitch, you know I'm Jason. That's why they call me Jason. Everything I do, I kill shit. That's why they call me Jason. Friday the 13th, they want my number now. They know that number 13 ain't just a number now. If it's cash, then we stacking. If it's ass, then we smacking. We gon' blast, we attacking. Put your ass in the casket. If we rapping, we rapping. If we scrapping, we scrapping. Yo, but tell me what's happening. Bitch, what's happening, what's happening? If it's cash, then we stacking. If it's ass, then we smacking. We gon' blast, we attacking. Put your ass in the casket. If we rapping, we rapping. If we scrapping, we scrapping. Yo, but tell me what's happening. Bitch, what's happening, what's happening? If it's cash, then we stacking. If it's ass, then we smacking. We gon' blast, we attacking. Put your ass in the casket. If we rapping, we rapping. If we scrapping, we scrapping. Yo, but tell me what's happening. Bitch, what's happening? What's happening?
Sir Nasty with Tell Me What We Doing. Very good. I love it. Off his new album, Life of Legend. I was trying to pull up while the song was going on which beat that was of mine, as far as like I've kept an order of all my beats in order, you know, when I made them. And when I was going through this Life of Legend album, I was keeping notes of which beats are which and all that. And I noticed a lot of these beats on here are old beats I sent him, like with some of my earlier packs or whatever that I sent over his way that he had never got around to. And Graveyard always said, no, we'll get to him. And so they were right. And then also part of me was like, man, I gotta get back on whatever vibe that was. You know, it was very simple, being wise, but worked very well. Also liked all the weird police siren noises I put in there. Good job, me from years ago. And good job, Sir Nasty and Graveyard. Shout out Graveyard out there. Speaking of Graveyard, I'm working on Southern Comfort's album, mixing that at the moment. I just sent another open verse over to someone who was like, oh, I'm definitely doing this. So then we got one more feature there, and then still waiting on Sir Nasty there, and then Brad Surexis sending verses over for 2 tracks there, and then Southern Comfort's album will be done. And then my album, I'm decided to add 1, maybe 2 more songs, because I came across some notes of a song I just forgot that I had an idea for. And then Mountain Man reached out recently, and I was like, oh, I didn't get Mountain Man on the second album, so we might work on something there. And yeah, anyway, that's music in my neck of the woods. That's my Al Roker Today Show. It's all a tie-in. It's fucking epic around here as far as the rap. No one does references like this dog. All right, things I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna do is a quick sports hit, and then we'll get into video games, which I could do honestly the whole episode probably about video games this week. But that one people would not like it. So sports stuff happening. It's basically just all NBA now. Like I said, I'll be quick. The All-Star weekend is happening as I'm recording this. The All-Star game has not happened yet. My prediction is it's going to be the worst ever. They've done this. It's USA versus World, but it's not even exactly that because there's 2 USA teams. So there's 3 teams. And then I don't even understand at the moment because it hasn't happened yet. It's like quarter 1, 2 of the teams play. Quarter 2, one of those teams will leave the court. Another team will come on. Quarter 3, the 2 that haven't played yet. And then quarter 4 will be who had the most points out of the 2. I don't know, something fucking weird like that. So it is fucking stupid. They should do it the way they used to do it. Nick Wright this week was on Bill Simmons' podcast, and he said we're a year or 2 away from doing all whites versus all blacks. And I know it's like sounds racist. People are like, how dare you? But that could save the All-Star game. I think everyone that hears it is in agreement. Like, oh yeah, that could totally save it. You get all the Eastern European whites, and we have some American whites coming up. And then you get it's mainly American blacks, but there are a few foreign blacks as well. And yeah, the blacks versus white game, I think everyone's watching. Everyone is tuning in. You know, now I think the white team loses. Don't get me wrong. Luka and Jokic don't give a fuck about the All-Star game, or haven't historically. Maybe they do if it becomes racial. But race war, NBA All-Star game in the future. Nick Wright. Got to give him the credit, you know, famous podcast, or I guess not a podcaster as much as he's a TV show sports analyst, but heard that this week. So anyway, I'm not looking forward to it, but I will watch tonight the 3-point contest. And the dunk contest has sucked for fucking years and years. I remember when Dwight Howard was doing it, and I was like, I guess this is where I'm officially out, because people were acting like it was good and I just didn't like it. And then there was that year with Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine, maybe 2 years, whatever it was. And people acted like that was so awesome. And people were like, no, that's a top whatever. And I'm like, maybe I just never was a dunk contest fan. If that's like the height of it, you know, maybe there's nothing they can do that makes me really that into it. But 3-point contest is always entertaining. And I used to enjoy the All-Star game, but I am of the opinion LeBron ruined the All-Star game. There is a specific moment in history where, like different times at the All-Star game, like some of the best players would go one-on-one, you know, in the middle of the game. Kobe loved the fact he got to go against Jordan. Jordan's last was Kobe's first All-Star. But Kobe and LeBron had this like beef back, not a real, it was like a sports beef, not a real beef, where it was like who's the best player in the league. And in the All-Star game, Kobe, I think, was ready to D him up and was like, all right, let's do it one-on-one. And then LeBron passed out like immediately, like he didn't want it. So LeBron's never really been like I don't know, he hasn't put a lot of effort in the All-Star game. And then other guys have followed suit. That's how I've kind of viewed it. But some would argue maybe that like no one cares. You can't just put it all on him. So that's my take there. And then a super random NBA thing is I listen to a lot of NBA podcasts. That's like, I don't listen to music. I said earlier, it's what's been replacing it. And I hear a lot of people's takes, and I'm sure this happens in other sports as well, or even professional wrestling, which isn't sports, but I know I have some listeners that watch it. But it's something, it's a hybrid. And this idea that like an old player like a Steph Curry, because that's what you hear a lot this year, it's like Steph Curry deserves a better team. He deserves a team that could take him to the finals. And it's like, why does just because a guy's old and good means that like they deserve to have other players on? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, or a young guy could win, and then someday you'll revere that guy because he won when he was younger, like Steph did, and now he's old. Like I just don't. It's an annoying sports pet peeve of mine. I'm sure it happens in football as well, where it's like, well, if this guy can't win here, because it happened with Giannis this year. They were acting like they're going to trade him from the Bucks. They didn't, and they'll be like, well, he deserves to be on a winning team. It's like, or he doesn't because he fucking got. When a guy gets paid max money, he takes up like 30% of the fucking cap room or something. Like that you take that from something. I don't know. It's from a strategy or like team building standpoint. I just don't understand. But maybe I think of this more as, I think of everything as like a giant video game. Like how would this work in a video game? And so maybe I'm just being too cold in it. It's, you got to look at the human side more. All right. Now I had something about the Thunder trying to hold the number one spot, but, a lot of injuries and, Thunder's just a personal passion of mine. I'm sure people out there don't care, but I'm watching all the games. We're going to try to I'm just ready for the playoffs. That's how it is with the big dog. You trash away for the playoffs, and we'll see what happens there. So the championship games go on. All right, now I'm going to video games. Now, the thing that I should say for last, I'm going to say it first. The thing I thought about just cancel this whole podcast is I've been obsessed with this game called Mugenics. I'll try to get some. I don't have video of it at the moment recorded, but I'll try to get some to show it. It is a game from this man we call Edward McMuffin. It's Ed McMullen. I don't remember his fucking name, but he was in this movie, Indie Game the movie, which I used to love. It was a little documentary of these guys that made indie games, and he made Super Meat Boy. Him and this other guy. And I did not like the game Super Meat Boy, but I liked them in that documentary. And then when Binding of Isaac came out, which was another game he made, I got that, loved it. I'm not like super good at it, but I played it a lot. And on the Vita was probably my main place to play it. And I really liked that game. And then this like maybe called a spiritual successor, Binding of Isaac, but not really. Just artistically it is. But game-wise, there's a game called Mugenics, which is a fucking great name. People don't know eugenics is like the study of like race and selective breeding through races and things like that. Real popular in the early 1900s. And Mew typically in video games are probably like an anime or some shit is like a cat. So Mugenics is like cat breeding. So in this game, you have these cats and it's like a tactical game and you're going through stages. It's a roguelike. So permadeath, you do a run and you basically do another, your characters do not carry over to other runs, things like that. And at least not yet. Maybe something happens later on that I unlock an ability. That sort of thing. Roguelikes, typically it's like a lot of arcade style gameplay mechanics. And then like the overall progression is like you're unlocking abilities for future playthroughs, which is, I think, what kind of separates a roguelike / light from other games or whatever. Now, I played way too much of it. Let me see if I can pull up real quick. And I've played it 18 hours, and the game came out 2 days ago. Or I got it 2 days ago. It came out 3 days ago. And I debated not getting it. It took me 24 hours to buy it because I don't like the look of the game at all. Like, I think the art is not good. I understand it's like the guy that made the game, it's like his style or whatever. And there's certain characters. I'm like, oh, yeah, it is. I mean, there isn't it is good in some way, but it's just not my thing. I also hate cats. I'm just not a big cat guy, but a lot of the cats look like dogs. So I just tell myself like, they're like cat dog things. And then, so anyway, once you beat a level, and at first I have to get my shit kicked in, not doing well at all. But yeah, once you beat a level, your cats come back to your house and then they are crowned and you can't use them, but they can breed and so can other cats. And every day a new cat comes to your door. Again, in the future, I probably unlock the ability to get more than that. And then through the breeding and then the new cats, you get new cats that haven't went on a battle yet, and you put them in the box and you send them off to the battles. And then you would think like, well, it's bad if you die, but not really, because if you get too many cats, it's bad. So like sometimes you want to fail and like have all these cats die. And then certain characters in the game, like some guy wants your dead cats, another one wants kittens, another one wants injured cats, one wants ones that are old. So yeah, it's just you're trading cats, you're breeding cats, you're fighting the cats. It's classic. I would say Final Fantasy Tactics style, but not exactly, but kind of, and every time you go out, you put a collar on them that gives them a certain class. So like you'll have a tank cat, a fighter cat. Anyway, I've played it way too much. It's very addicting. I will try to do other stuff in life. It's going to be a hindrance to stuff, but I'm just trying to enjoy it this first week. While that first week, if you play a new game that you'll probably be playing for like 5-10 years or whatever the fuck, because that's how these 100 games are. It has 281 trophies or something like that's insane. But anyway, excited about that. We'll see if I got any footage there. Other games I played earlier this week that I wanted to talk about was, well, I mentioned earlier getting things out of this old school building. One of the things that they had is they had 4 DDR pads. And at first I didn't care at all. Like one guy I worked with once because he collects all kinds of old tech stuff. And he's like, no, dude, these are arcade quality DDR pads. People know DDR is, that's Dance Dance Revolution. So that's the arcade game you would see with like the little Asian kid be stepping on the arrows or whatever at your local arcade. And I was never good at DDR. My cousin Rusty had a little shitty pad, like a little, I don't know, what do you call it? Was made like some clothy material, and I didn't really like playing that either. And it wasn't my favorite thing. So anyway, I wasn't gonna get this, but the fucking DDR pads have a connector to a PS2. I have a PS2 right here, and I was like, well, okay, well, hold on. If this will connect to my PS2, I'm gonna take one of these. And so I did take one home. Got DDR. I actually was playing Dance Dance Revolution 2. That's the one I've settled on as my favorite at the moment. I tried another one that was way too hard, and so that's the thing. During level 1, you have really chill song, right? It's just like 1 foot, 1 step, and you get to the BPM and it feels like line dancing. It really does. And it's actually kind of fun. Listen to Sean Paul's Get Busy going, dun, 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 and it's fucking, I turn the music up real loud and I'm jamming out. That's like, I have a projector that goes on this wall here and that's where the DDR is. And I sit over here for, I'm sure I'll be playing a video of my run I recorded. And, it was like a pretty good time. I enjoyed DDR quite a bit. And, but then you get to like level 2 or, it's like there's 8 songs in the first level or whatever, the first world, whatever the fuck. You get to the second one and then all of a sudden they start doing stuff where you got to hit like 2 things at once. And if I start jumping around in this room, shit's going to fall over. That's how I feel now. And sometimes I just get into it and I'm like, fuck it. But then I get tired. I'm like, I can't be jumping around like this. So then I decide, well, this is going to be my new workout routine is I'm going to try to play some DDR on PS2. But now Mugenics came out. I'm sure I'll get distracted, but that's the fun. Now I need a longer cord so I can put it in the middle. I think if it was in the middle of the room, it's a little sturdier there than the edge as far as like there aren't computers and TVs around where I'm jumping and shit. And so maybe that would make it a little easier to do some of the more advanced stuff. But I'm excited for Skinny to come over here. I'm going to show it to him. He's a big dancing fan. He's not a huge video game fan, so I'm sure he's never played it. But he may have at an arcade, but I think he'll get a kick out of it. But we'll see what happens. But shout out DDR, a new fan. And then as I was waiting on something to play, because in March and April, I already pre-ordered 2 games that I want. So I'm just kind of waiting on those, on trying not to spend any money. So I went and re-downloaded Astro Bot, which I platinumed last year, whenever it came out. I think it was last year. And they've released a few new levels, and so I was playing through those. And they have some time trials, and then they have these like expert levels. And I did all the time trials, got all those, but some of the like these levels are really hard. I was like, fuck, I forgot how hard some of the fucking Astro. I mean, in general, they're all pretty easy, but there's a few of them that's like, you just got to do it right, and it's 3D platformers, which isn't normally my thing, but the game is so well made that I gave it a shot. So I did spend a good day or two getting back into Astrobot. So if y'all haven't played it, or if you have a PS5, it comes with Astro's Playroom, and that's kind of like a prequel to Astrobot, I would say. So play that. If you like that, definitely get Astrobot. Thought it was very, very good. And then just video game news, nothing I have video for anything. I've kept talking about that new Fallout remaster that was going to come out after their season 2 of Fallout. It did not happen. Apparently that was all lies. And then like after I wrote that down on my notes here, I saw another thing. It's like, actually it is coming out. It's just delayed. And I don't know. I'll believe when I see it. I'm glad it's not out. I have this new game now and I don't need any more at the moment. And then my wife is playing Horizon Forbidden West, which is the second Horizon game. I really like the Horizon games. They just announced the next one in the series, and it's a goddamn like Fortnite fucking knockoff or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe they're gonna ruin it. Now the people don't even like the game, so you can't really ruin it from that reputation wise. Like I'm a rare person who's like, actually, I think these games are pretty good. But I wish they would just make the third game and then be done with it. What the fuck are we doing with all these spinoffs? So had to get that out as well while I'm talking video games. And all right, there we go. Let's play a song. What time it is. The song we're going to go with here is from the homie It's Your Boy H2. And he has a new album out called, it's not in front of me here. We'll see it whenever I hit the next one. I'll let y'all know after the song plays. But I kept mentioning, I was like, he has this album. He hasn't come out yet, but it is out now. And I know it's got a lime green cover. That's what I remember about it. So y'all will see it here. And I'm not even writing down the name of the song, but it's all good. I do have a second. I do have a backup for that. The name of the song we're going with here is called Tell Me What We Doing. I think. No, maybe it's not a problem. It's not a problem. The other one was a certain Nazi song. Things get twisted around here. That'd be the perfect place if I had like a Twisted Tea sponsorship and I'd be like, Twisted. Anyway, it's not a problem. It's your boy H2. Let's give it a listen.
Go ahead and hate us, hating's not a problem. Dog, we so hard, even Satan's got a problem. Blade stay chopping, so Jason's got a problem. It feels so good, Pastor Mace got a problem. But I'ma stay knocking and bumping out the frames, and putting bumps on the noggins of these fucking lames. New motto, find a duck, fucking ducking name. From the ground up, through the jaw and out the brain. Alpha Omega, and just know I'm out for pain. Now I've come to my senses, you and I are not the same. You've got too much to learn, but I'm not the one to train. So I make you an example and prove what I claim. That H2 was made to grow and become great. Have a position, dismiss any dissing or slick hate. Kill these faggots on the spot without a chance to get it straight. Any survivor crews gon' get it too, just wait. It's part of God's plan, I promise it's just fate. And mine is to never let you get a clean slate. And always hold a grudge, and never let them budge. And make sure when I leave a scene there's nothing left but blood. Wanna hate the fame? For sure, it's no problem. All that does is create more problems. Wanna hate the fame? For sure, it's no problem. But when you pop off, you make us your problem. Come on, I already got them, it ain't nothing to win. This is my life, but this ain't nothing to them. Fuck what you heard, bitch, yeah, I'm coming for them. You hear us stomping on these tracks like we nothing but Timbs, and flexing on these suckers like we nothing but rims. Yeah, we nothing but net, while you nothing but rim. Worst actor on film, starring in the worst movie, while we spit shit that make you wanna choke up on an Uzi. Look down, pull the hammer back and just let it fly. Treat your life like your beef, fuck boy, and let it die. Cause we won't let it ride, and you can't keep us from you. Before you say a thing, we already in a huddle. Track you down on the track, take your whole head from you. Don't leave a response, no need for rebuttal. Just a note to your folks that ends with I love you. Said I'm killing these bitches with Chris Benoit muscle. Wanna hate the fame? For sure, it's no problem. All that does is create more problems. Wanna hate the fame? For sure, it's no problem. But when you pop off, you make us your problem.
It's your boy H2. with It's Not a Problem off I'm 12 Levels, I believe is what that says on the album. I'm trying to figure out what it is. It looks like it's like a computer tower on his back, but then I'm like, nah, we wouldn't have. I don't think that's what it is. I don't know. Let me know, H2. And I'll try to remember for the next time we should. Yeah, it is cool. I do think, because I know that's like an old verse that he put on a newer beat of mine. I don't know if that one matched the vibes, like maybe if, I think I would have removed that weird underlying guitar and maybe went with like a different instrument that maybe matched the era a little better, but it wasn't bad. I think it works totally. But maybe we could have finessed it a little more. But you know what? I'm fucking not making any beats. Very rarely. It has come down to a crawl. I feel like a failure a little bit in that way. The only thing I tell myself is I'm currently made. Let me look at my list here so I would hate to lie to the folk. I've made 1,275 beats according to my records. There's a few here and there that didn't get added, maybe a few at the beginning, but yeah, and it's really 225 on this, but I know I made 50 on, I have this other tab and that does, so, but I should be at 1,500 by now, my wife, I've been fucking slacking, but eventually you get a little lazy at it, you just kind of fall into your old habits, how you're doing stuff, and I just need to, shake it up, my creative process a little bit to make some newer stuff, and I really could just keep doing what I'm doing. I would make beats, things people would want, but I don't even fucking barely have rap friends anymore that want stuff. I mean, Graveyard I send stuff to, but they have still hundreds of beats, and everyone else that I used to know that wanted beats, they are not putting shit out, at least not lately. So I guess maybe, is this the chicken or the egg? It's one of those scenarios. All right, let's see what else. What else do I need to get off my chest here? I was going to do this whole thing about we need to bring back Discord because we used to have a Discord for the podcast. We were never really, there was maybe a week or two there we were trying to be active, and then there's been other attempts of us trying to be like, let's try to use it. But Brad got locked out of our group chat on Twitter, and in that moment I was like, man, maybe we should go back to Discord, and so that would be cool. And then literally this week I see a thing where it's like Discord's enacting a new thing where you have to have a picture of your face or else you're gonna be locked out of a bunch of features. And it's just everything about it's changing. I mean, that's just a different thing of what it was. And I'm like, well, I guess we're not going to Discord. If people won't put in their fucking picture of their face to look at porn, they're not gonna do it to fucking talk on a game chat. Or maybe they would for game chat, not porn. I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at this backwards. But anyway, I feel like that's not a smart move there by Discord. And then a couple versus scenarios. The first one that's big news in like rap world, not really big news. I think it's a little bit just trying to get your name out there for a future album rollout. But T.I. versus 50 Cent. Originally it started off as T.I. like calling out 50 Cent for a versus. And when it was just that, my thought was like, I personally do think 50 Cent is too big to go on versus. Now, I'm sure somebody's like, no, they have this person. But there's certain people, like I think Jay-Z, Eminem, 50 Cent, Kanye. I mean, there's just certain people like I do think they're above. Like you'd have to give them so much money, and like they're just doing you a favor to get on it. And I think versus lost a lot of its prestige once something, when it was like it felt organic at first, like seemed cool, and then there's something happened with where it's just lost it over time, where it's, I don't know, it doesn't seem as special or whatever as a product. But I was debating just that of like, well, I don't really know who would win. Now this is my own personal opinion, obviously, but I love 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying. I think that album is a probably top 10 rap album of all time for me, because I don't love all the old stuff as much as some other people. And I just, it was a huge album. And so that one has a lot of hits, off that album, but I don't love a lot of 50 Cent's albums after that. And that's really because I judged him. So I was so into the like all the beef of the era, to watch those beef documentaries. And like 50 Cent was such a good beefer, and he beefed with Ja Rule, of course. And one of his big insults to Ja Rule was that Ja Rule sings hooks, like on some bitch shit. He's singing hooks or whatever, right? And then people are like, but 50 Cent, you have 21 questions. He's like, yeah, but I didn't sing the hook. A singer sang the hook. And like that was like his whole defense of the moment. And then fucking Candy Shop comes out on The Massacre, his second album. And I was like, well, he's a fucking hypocrite, and fuck this whole album. So maybe the album is better than I remember it, but I remember being like, this album fucking sucks. And then whatever his third one was, Curtis or whatever, maybe there was no one in between there. I didn't like that one. So I was like, 50 Cent has one great album. And he has some good features. He gave away some good songs to Game and shit like that. But he's such a fun personality, so cool that you want to like him. But, so me thinking through that perspective, and then T.I., who I basically don't like, exact opposite scenario. T.I. in interviews, it comes off as such a fake, inauthentic, douchey guy that like thinks he's the man or whatever. And yet I like a lot of T.I.'s music, over the years. And I'm like, I think T.I. probably has the number of good songs, but I think maybe 50 Cent has like the greater peaks. This is a Jordan versus LeBron thing, but like on a totally different, not quite the same level. So I do think that would have been an interesting like verses in some way, but I think 50 Cent, the personality is too big for that. So I felt like T.I. calling him out was like, hey, quit being fucking dumb. It ain't never going to happen. But then it led to 50 Cent kind of calling T.I. a snitch. And then now T.I.'s like, 50 Cent's a snitch, and I got the paperwork. So that's where we're at in the story. And now it's going to get to real beef, or again, it's just all fake for them to get views. Who knows? I have always felt uneasy about T.I.'s situation, about the way he did turn rat, if you will. Now, he didn't rat on anyone alive, to my understanding. He ratted on a dead friend, like his friend died, and he was like, it was all him. And part of me is like, yeah, that sucks, but also I understand it from like, that's kind of a cool gangster move. Like, I mean, that guy's not going to just like, I understand both sides of it. The part I really disliked of T.I.'s telling of it, I don't remember where he told this at, maybe it was a podcast or an interview or something, but he was like, as I sit in an interrogation room, I talked to God, and God told me that my friend so-and-so would want me to do this. And I just feel like in that part's not needed, just be like, oh, I realized this fucking loophole and I fucking pulled it off. Like, I don't know. There was something about the like using, oh, I had a religious experience that told me to rat out my dead friend. Now, if it was me and maybe this is what you and your friends need to talk about if y'all are getting in some shit together. I used to be in some of those friendships. Maybe there should have been like, hey, if one of us dies in this, that person takes all the heat. Deal. Like, I'm sure everyone would have agreed. Because that is what you should do. If you're fucking in it, like, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I just didn't like the way T.I. talked about it. Also, T.I. came across like his reality show. He fucking sucked, right? I mean, that's my memory of it. He was no Rev Run. That's for sure. So anyway, we'll see what happens with that. And then another different sort of verses, but I see it pop up a lot, and I find it interesting. I try to talk to my wife about it, and she doesn't. She's kind of in it, but so am I. I don't know. I'll try to, I guess, and explain. Sabrina Carpenter versus Sydney Sweeney. Now, they're not really any competition with each other. Sabrina Carpenter is a singer. Sydney Sweeney is an actress. Both white, both blonde. But there's this sort of idea that like women find Sabrina Carpenter attractive and guys don't as much. And guys think Sydney Sweeney's very attractive. And a lot of women are like, I don't see it. Again, I think it's very funny because at least in my relationship, that is also what happens. But I've also seen it on the internet. But I remember mentioning maybe a year ago, whenever Sabrina Carpenter was really blowing up at first, I was like, it's so crazy. It's popular. She's like you just expect someone more attractive to me. Like, that is literally what I said. And then my wife's like, what are you talking about? All the people really think she's attractive. Like, she's around high school kids. She teaches high school. She's like, you're just wrong on this. I'm like, all right, I guess. I mean, she's fucking Hillary Clinton to me. I don't know. There's something about her that isn't my thing or whatever, but she could be awesome. She could have like such a cool personality. All of a sudden she is hot, that could totally happen. I don't know anything about these people. And then Sydney Sweeney is, in my opinion, and I'm not even in the blondes typically, it's like, oh yeah, she's super attractive. Like, how could you not know that or see that or whatever. But there are many girls who are like, what, just because she has tits? And it's like, I kind of think it's a whole package scenario a little bit. I think that is definitely part of it. Don't get me wrong, but I think even her interviews, her sort of carefree nature guys are into, So I just think there's, I don't know. I just think it's interesting how like one gender finds one attractive, one finds the other one, and then like there's arguments about it, And it's like also, I think out of those, one side should win by default because one's biologically attractive. I don't know, like women admire the other one, or I don't know. Also, I think for me, a part of the Sabrina Carpenter thing is I've never been into like the heavy makeup thing. I think later on in my life, I appreciate it more now. I'm like, oh, this is very talented. No, it does make someone look real attractive or whatever. But when I was young and dating, that was something that like turned me off quite a bit. No, I mean, there were a couple ladies here and there, that I was nice and friendly with and things like that did wear a lot of makeup. It didn't bother me, but it wasn't something I look for. It's kind of like, I also always needed a lady that was kind of smart. I hate saying it because, dumb ones could have been so fun, but I'm like, I will fucking kill myself. I have to be around someone too fucking stupid for too long. I just wasn't made for that. So my wife all the time tries to call herself stupid. I'm like, no, you're not. I would fucking have been out of here if you were too stupid. So I don't know if it's as reassuring as she hopes, but I like to think it's a good line. All right, let's see what else. What else can we end on here? I told my wife I'm hitting a certain time, and I don't want to. Looked up and I was like, oh, we're kind of here, but I feel like y'all deserve a little more. I've had a couple Reddit things. Y'all know how active y'all are on Reddit, but I like it. Reddit's fun. It's a lot of people say that like Twitter's like full of conservative toxicity or whatever, and maybe there is some of that, but Reddit's the liberal version of that. Like like people are. Like the toxic liberal stuff's kind of in there. So I think that's fun in some way just to kind of monitor it. But these two things that I'm pulling from Reddit this week are neither ones. One is a subreddit I see all the time called TV Too High. And I used to kind of appreciate the TV Too High community. So it's just people posting pictures of like, oh, I was at my parents' house and their TV's too high. And then like, you're kind of like, oh my God, look how high that TV. That's basically the premise of it, right? And then they used to be like, people would be mounting the motherfucker like it's touching the ceiling of their, room or whatever. And you're like, that is crazy. And they all blame it on, in my living room, in my house, we have a fireplace and a mantle, and our TV is on top of it because that's where else would it fucking go? And that's the layout. And they're basically like, they hate that. They're like, putting a fucking TV above your mantle. Now your TV is too high. And like, they just are so angry on the subreddit that people do this. And then their preference, what I've learned, because I'm like, what do they even fucking want? And so they think your TV should be on a coffee table. It should be low as fuck. And then so like you're looking down on your TV. And now I think for video games that could be cool. But to me, kind of that slot looking up is a more theatrical vibe. I don't know. Maybe y'all let me know up there. I don't really care one way or the other. I can get used to it. But maybe the fact that TV's high and I'm looking up is why I'm always falling asleep playing game. I don't know. And I do think when I'm playing games here on my computer where it's right in front of me, it does somehow feels better, but it's also because it's literally like fucking 12 inches from my face. So anyway, TV too high. What are y'all thoughts out there? And then another one I saw this week, and it's really stuck with me because people don't know, The Office is like, my top 1 or 2 favorite TV shows ever. And it's so good. Love it so much. But I saw someone basically on there's a subreddit of like sitcoms or something, or maybe comedy. Who knows? There's a subreddit for everything. But someone posts something on there basically like they just don't understand why people find The Office funny. Now, that's fine by me. I mean, you don't have to like shows I like. Honestly, it'd be cooler if you did. I kind of hate that The Office is so popular and I like it so much. It makes me feel kind of lame. But when someone admits to me that they don't like The Office, and people have done it on this podcast before or whatever, like, I just don't, it just ain't funny. And that's what this person was saying. They're like, it's just not funny. I don't understand what you're supposed to laugh at, whatever. Where are the jokes? Whereas to me, the whole thing's fun. Like, there's not a time it's not a joke to me when I'm watching it. And in their example, they're like, I like shows like The Big Bang Theory, full of jokes or whatever. And now I've watched every episode of The Big Bang Theory, I think 3 times, because my wife used to be a big fan. I feel like this last time we watched it, I talked so much shit that She's not as much of a fan, but it's still a whatever show. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just not my favorite. But a post underneath this was like, well, if you like The Big Bang Theory, that's why you don't like The Office, is because you like shows with laugh tracks. You need someone to tell you when to laugh. And and as soon as I heard that, I was like, that is exactly what a laugh track is for. It is what, especially in Big Bang Theory, because it'll be like, well, that's the fucking Fibonacci sequence. And then people like, and then like you at home, they don't know fucking know it. I know the Fibonacci, but a lot of people don't. They'll be like, yeah, I'm supposed to laugh at that, and you're laughing really at people being nerdy, like there's no joke to get. You're just laughing at people. So it's like, that is a different type of show or sitcom. Whereas in The Office, strangely, is like super character based, like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I've watched it so much. It's like, to me, there's just so many nuances to it all or whatever. And again, I don't think people have to enjoy it all. Like, I'm just like, it is shocking to me sometimes when you're like, how do you not find this super funny? But maybe, again, maybe it's nostalgia. I watched it when it aired on, on television, on my antenna, because it was one of 3 channels I got. I was like, fucking Office or not? Hell yeah. And I also loved Heroes. But Heroes fell. It got destroyed by the writer's strike between season 1 and 2. It went from like all this potential to like, oh, this sucks. And so that was a sad one. That one is not on my Jellyfin server. Been trying to find stuff to put in there. I had to take a break. I have too much stuff. I'm never gonna watch it. There's, speaking of Reddit, I've kind of went down that rabbit hole as well. Of people that don't know, Jellyfin servers, like you have all these videos on your computer and you can put it on your own server so that in your house you can watch things off your computer on other TVs. But it looks like Netflix, more or less. And still gonna eventually work on seeing if I can get some homies to watch it from y'all's. I think someone like Soko, my TV buddy, would probably appreciate watching some of these things if we could figure it out. But I basically, most things I have a 720p resolution, and then online some people are like really judgy of that. They're like, you have to have it at the highest. I only do 4K, but it takes up so much room. And like most of these TV shows, I fucking watch on a goddamn box TV. It don't even be fucking 1080p. Like there's a few like Game of Thrones, I have a 1080p. I kept it there, but a lot of the stuff I ripped, I was like, well, no, we're gonna convert it down to say, we don't need to take up 20 gigs on this, and we can take up 10. There were some moments like that. So now I'm like, been like, man, did I fuck up? What am I gonna regret doing that 5 years from now? I'm like, actually, I do want the better quality. Now I could have, I just have to get a bigger hard drive. 4 terabytes turns out wasn't. I mean, it's enough for now, but if I wanted to get crazy with it, I would need to keep going, probably double that or something. But it's been a good time. I've enjoyed it, but I am slow. I have to stop. I have to stop doing that and focus on other things like breeding cats on a video game. And I did want to end on an update on my dog, and then I'll wrap it up here. Back in December, my dog had surgery, had a toe cut off. She had a tumor on her toe. They told us at the time it was a busted toe pad that we just couldn't fucking fix. Turned out it was a tumor. Anyway, they cut off her toe, and then for a couple of weeks, she was on a bunch of drugs, and she was still basically herself, but on a bunch of drugs. And then since like early January sometime, she just hasn't really been herself. And I would say for the last 3 weeks, that's my guess. Last 3 weeks, she really hasn't been herself at all. And so much so like weird stuff. Like we have this root cellar, which is it's like a cellar under our house. And she used to be so scared of it, but the other day she just walked down the steps and went in there, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's crazy. And she used to, be on a schedule for like, she wanted certain treats a certain time of the day. Now she basically wants no treats. She almost eats no food. We got some soft food that she is eating a little bit of just because we're like, she's losing so much weight because she's not eating. It feels like she's depressed is like the human diagnosis. She just wants this. She sleeps 20 of the 24 hours a day, if not more. I mean, she is just always sleeping, always on the couch. And then you're like, let's go outside. Let's go on a car ride. Let's go to the park. Things that she used to like just jump up for joy to do. She I have to literally like drag her off the couch. Like she'll hunker down. And so at first, I think the wife took it as like she's mad at us because she had surgery and she isn't going to get over it. And then the wife always gets a little upset. It's like her personality's out there, her tail never wags. And it does. It's just not as near as much. It's like once or twice a day she'll have a tail waggy moment. But it used to be like nonstop because like our 10-year-old dog used to be like a puppy all the time. You know, she just had a puppy personality. So just everything about her personality has changed. We keep debating, should we take her to the vet for this? But it's like we don't have like besides the not eating thing, there's not really much we can point to be like, no, it's this thing, you know? And so I know in March, that's when she has her normal checkup for shots and all that. So we're going to try to wait till then. But it is concerning. It's very sad, I think, more than anything. And it's like, because you're just used to how much of a puppy she used to be. Now, the only time that happens is about 10:30 at night. I'll be in here doing whatever. And then the dog will walk it. She had been asleep for however long before this in bed, but she'll wake up, come in here, and her tail will be wagging like her old self for a few minutes, and then she'll want me to take her outside, and we'll go outside, and we'll come in, and I'll try to give her a treat like the old times, and then she refuses to take it, and she's back to being fucking weird. But there's like this one brief window where it's like, there she is, I could see the spark in her eyes. And but yeah, she's, as far as sleeping, she is sticking real close. She gets under the covers. She is on my hip, like we are touching all night basically. She will not leave my side as far in that. So that kind of sucks. It's sweet, you know, or whatever, but it is also like, God damn it. I have a king size bed and I'm sleeping in a spot like this, like just on my side. I have nowhere to go because this dog's all on me. But anyway, sad dog. All right. That was my last thing. If y'all know anything about dogs, dog personalities, I guess my kind of theory is, all the drugs were like a hero dose, if you will. It maybe it like opened her up to a new level of consciousness. So whereas in before she was on a more criminal, happy level, she experienced all of these emotions with the surgery and then all the drugs that it did fundamentally change her personality. But I could be putting some of my own life experiences into it to when I took too many mushrooms or whatever. And all of a sudden you think about life differently afterwards. So anyway, hope Nymeria gets back to her old ways soon. Because really, I mean, I'm enforcing her to go to the park, but she hates it. And I need to. I need the exercise. So we need to do it. So I would prefer it if she was happy about it when we did it. All right, we're ending here on a song. I have a new song out now with Karmaa. Came out this past Friday. Hopefully you've already listened to it dozens and dozens of times, but if not, you can hear it here and then go add it to your favorites playlist. Just keep listening to it. It's going to be off of my new album called Indifferent, which I would love to put out in April, but we will see if that happens. But my goal is April 17th. Just let everyone know that is the goal. We will see what happens. But I had to put out some singles while we're waiting. And so this one I put out the day before Valentine's Day because it's got those vibes. It's called FWU. Stands for fuck with you or fuck with you. That's how I say it. There are moments I get on like my sort of pop singer vibes. And I know I'm not really a singer. I don't really make pop music. But there's something, whatever this sound is, I do it once every 40 songs or so. And then normally lately, unless how many times I just hit up Karmaa, I'm like, do you want to do the second verse? Because it's hard for when I do one verse in whatever the style is, it's hard for me to match it with a second one. I could do it with like a different style. I know I'll do this one real rappy and this one real singing or something, but it's hard to like match it for some reason for me. So I always just send it to Karmaa typically, and she's always down. And that's what happened here again. And so anyway, this again, like I said, will be on my next album, but it is out now for you to listen to your heart's contented with its desires or whatever the fuck the phrase. And anyway, FWU, AMO, Karmaa, check it out. Thanks for listening to the podcast, and I'm out of here.
Fuck with me, and I'll fuck with you. Do all the things that you want me to. What's your favorite one? Girl, that's what I do. Cause I want nothing else but to fuck with you. Girl, look at my eyes, I ain't trying to tell no lies. Sometimes I hate myself, so I try to wear a disguise. I guess that I forget I got you by my side. So I should be trying to live and not trying to hide. I be trying to get my mind right, gotta change up my vibes. Can't be looking back with hindsight, always asking myself why. I ain't got time for that. You know where it's at. What you wearing? Yeah, we tearing that bit over and she staring back. Sometimes things are great, yeah, sometimes they a little bad. At the end of the day, girl, you know I got your back. See, we grown ass people in this grown ass life, and at the end of the day, you know where I be at night. So fuck with me, and I'll fuck with you. Do all the things that you want me to. What's your favorite one? Yeah, that's what I do. Cause I want nothing else but to fuck with you.
It's karma. If you fuck with me, I'ma fuck with you. You stuck with me like we made it glue. Bang, bang. Shoot or shoot. Cock it, shoot or shoot. I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. Relationships, I do this shit. My thoughts all in the way. They clogging up my brain. No drain next to maintain. No cleanse your pain away. The one night stand is in our plans. Give me someone to distract my hands. Ooh, you sexy. Baby, let me. Drive you crazy. Come and play me. This connection undeniable. The way you look, indescribable. All my actions, justifiable. Baby, you can ride me like a bicycle. Now I got you home, it's time to rock and roll. Cause I'm about 0.5 from losing all control. Don't feel exposed, go with the flow. Let's get you out your head and make you lose control. Let's go.
Fuck with me, and I'll fuck with you. Do all the things that you want me to. What's your favorite one? Yeah, that's what I do. Cause I want nothing else but to fuck with you. Fuck with me, and I'll fuck with you. Do all the things that you want me to. What's your favorite one? Girl, that's what I do. Cause I want nothing else but to fuck with you.